morning, everyone. Today we are the Group 1 reporters. First and foremost, my name is Ernestine Ravino, and today's subject is the nature, scope, and methodology of economics. The origin of economics. From the ancient world to the 21st century, the history of economic thought examines various thinkers and theories in the topic that became political economy and economics. This field covers a wide range of economic schools of thought. Greek word oikonomia. The term economics is derived from two Greek words. Eco means home and nomos means accounts. The topic has evolved from how to keep family accounts to what it is today, which is the broad topic. Up until the 19th century, the economics expanded slowly but has since accelerated. Household management became known as state management. The various duties and chores associated with the organization, financial management, and the day-to-day activities of a home are referred to as household management. Housekeeping is a term that refers to the cleaning and physical upkeep of a home, as opposed to financial concerns or outdoors maintenance. John Maynard Keynes, father of microeconomics. First Baron Keynes was an English economist whose theories revolutionized macroeconomic theory and practice, as well as the government economic policies. He was a mathematician by training, and he built on a fund earlier work on the process of business cycles. Adam Smith, father of modern economics, also known as the father of economics or the father of capitalism, was a Scottish economist, philosopher, and moral philosopher, was a pioneer of political economy and pivotal figure due to the Scottish Enlightenment. In 1776, an inquiry into the nature and causes of the wealth of nations. Adam Smith writes in his 1776 book, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, that the specialization boosts productivity, specialization and free trade would benefit, according to the theory of comparative advantage, which is assured by two amendments to the U.S. Constitution.
What is the definition of economics? First, wealth-getting and wealth-using activities of men. So, wealth-getting is striving for work to earn money, while wealth-using to satisfying the needs and wants of men. Wealth has a special meaning in economics. In ordinary language, by wealth we mean money. But in economics, wealth refers to those goods which satisfy human wants, but we should remember, all goods which satisfy human wants are not in wealth. In economics, wealth does not refer to money. It refers to the scarce goods which satisfy the human wants. Deals on how human beings go about the business, organizing consumption, and production activities. So, it is like a simple expanding a business store or maybe spending our own money wherein you must think what to consume. Next, study of people's ways of earning and enjoying life such that it improves societies and makes human civilization possible. Become happy with such money. If you will think about morality, you will realize all. A true happiness is not on how you enjoy life, but it is how you make life worth living. A social science which deal with production, exchange, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. It is studies of individuals, business, and etc. Make choices about how to allocate resources. Economics focuses on the actions of human beings, and it acts with seeking the most optimal level of benefit on utility. A social science that deals with efficient allocation of scarce resources in order to satisfy unlimited and sustainable human wants. Our wants exceed what our resources can produce. We call fact scarcity, and scarcity focuses us to decide how best our limited resources. A social science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which alternative uses. In the definitions, we can say highlighted studies human behavior or economics human behavior, so it is important to have some idea of what means human behavior. Therefore, economics is a social science. It studies people and organizations and attempts to make sense of the economic relationship in the world about us. So, in economics, human behavior it is a social science. It is not a natural science. And lastly, economic imbalance. It exists in the world economy imbalance. The rich are giving richer and poor is giving poor. And the middle class is a brain. This is because we study and to give ready to be good employees. The middle class is running after the money and they are running to get it. In order to have an opportunity to make money work to advantage at the same time, producing development and for the works.
My topic is economics as a social science. Economics is a social science because it deals with one aspect of human behavior, viz. How many deal with problems of scarcity. Samuelson says that economics is the queen of the social science. Is it true that economics is a science? Economics can never be an exact science and is a different kind of discipline to say physics or chemistry. For example, if you drop a pencil out of an upstairs window, the known laws of physics predict that it must be fall to the ground. If ever a pencil flew vertically upwards, then physicists would have to look again at those laws in order to accommodate this new possibility. One thing that would never enter the discussion would be the possibility that pencil decided to fly upwards. And here is where the laws of economics are very different from the laws of physics. Economics is a social science, which means that it studies aspects of human behavior. Here are some scientific approach in dealing with economic issues. Step 1. Understand the problem. Understanding the problem is the first step of any problem solving to know if your solution is actually solving the problem. Step 2. Formulate the hypothesis. Formulating the hypothesis is a specific testable prediction about what you expect to happen in your study. Step 3 is gathering the real-world data or facts that are relevant to the problem. Real-world data is observational data as opposed to data gathered. Step 4, based on the gathered facts, observe, analyze, and make interpretation. Step 5, generalization and recommendation as to whether accept, reject, or modify the hypothesis. And lastly, providing a solution to the problem or economic policy.
Opportunity costs. Alternative uses that are sacrificed in making a choice. Alternative action that should have been undertaken instead. Measure things that must be given up or sacrifices when one alternative over the other. When we talk opportunity costs, means what we have to give up when we buy, and what we want in terms of other goods or services. Example, when we spend time and money going to a movie, and we cannot spend the money or something else. So next, economics as social science. How society and individual generally make choices. When we talk economics as social science, is how can we generally make a choices? How can individual make a decision to choose? Economics and human wants. The study of economics help us to make decisions on how to maximize the use of our resources to satisfy most of our wants. When we talk economics and human wants is to help us to make a decision that can be satisfied as what we want. Like example is food, shelter, clothing, and etc. Economics and the concept of scarcity. Scarcity is the fundamental problem in any society. It limits our option to choose. When we talk economics and the concept of scarcity means being finite and limited our option to choose and to make a decision about how allocate resources efficiently in order to satisfy our unlimited wants and desires.
Importance of economics. Hindi natin makakailan ng economic yung sa ating ginagamit araw-araw. Maraming kapakinabang na makukuha mo sa pag-aaral ng economics. Isa na dito ang students improving their analytical skills. Ibig sabihin ng word na analytical, ito yung kakayahan ng isang tao to collect at mag-analyze ng mga impormasyon at kakayahang magbigay ng solusyon sa isang problema at kakayahan magdesisyon. Mahalaga sa mga estudyante na kagaya ko na malaman ang tunay na kahulugan at importansya ng economics dahil mas mahasa natin ang pag-unawa natin sa isang paksa. Mahasa din nito ang ating ugali at gawi sa pamaraang makakatulong sa iyong pagdedesisyon para sa kinabukasan at paghahanap buhay sa hinaharap. Maaari mo ding magamit ang kalaman sa economics sa pag-unawa ng mga desisyon mula sa mga pamilya na mayroon ang iyong pamilyang kinabibilangan. Number 2, business managers and executives will be able to maximize the ROI or return on investment and profit. ROI represents the financial benefit received from a particular business investment. In other words, it measures what you get back compared to what you put in. Ibig sabihin, mas mapapanatili na mataas ang ROI at kita ng isang business kung ang mga manager at executive ay maalam sa economics. Marunong sila kung paano magpalago ng isang business at magbalanse ng demand-supply ng isang produkto. Alam nila ang mga salik na makakaapekto sa kanila at mahalaga ito sa mga manufacturer o mga tagagawa ng mga produkto. Kung ikaw ay negosyante, tuturuan ka nitong hanapin ang pinakamatiipid na aspekto ng paggawa ng produkto na nasa iyong mga kamay. Tutulungan ka rin nitong solusyonan ang mga problemang kaakibat ng iyong paggawa. Kung marunong ka sa paksang ito, madali ka makagawa ng desisyon dahil alam mong mga dahilan kung bakit tumataas o bumababa ang presyo ng iyong mga kalakal. Alam mo rin kung paano uunlad ang iyong negosyo sa pamamagitan lamang ng pagsusuri ng mga salik ng produksyon. Kaya dahil sa economics, masasabi natin na tutulungan tayo nito maging mas mahusay na mamimili, mas magaling na tagagawa ng kalakal at maging isang matagumpay na negosyante sa hinaharap kung ikaw ay nag-aaral ng economics. Number 3, helps employees and buyers make better employment and buying decisions respectively. The study of economics may help you make better decisions whether to buy, to seek job. As with most things, the more informed a person is, the greater the chance that wise decision will be made. Number 4, being efficient in financial investment decision. Alam mong mga bagay na mas matimbang at mas importante. Ibig sabihin nito, bago ka mag-invest, kailangan mo munang pag-isipan ng mabuti. Alamin ang mga bagay kung worth it ba o kaya mapapalago mo ba siya. And last is essential for well-informed citizenship. Ibig sabihin nito, magagamit mo mga kalaman sa economics upang maunawaan ang mga napapanahong issue na may kaugnayan sa mahalagang usaping ekonomiko ng bansa. Maaari mo ding maunawaan ang mga batas at programang ipinapatupad ng mga pamahalaan na may kaugnayan sa pagpapaunlad ng ekonomiya. Ang economics ang nagsisilbing gabay sa ating pang-araw-araw upang ating malaman kung anong susunod na yapak ang ating gagawin. Sabi nga ni Sir Henry Clay, ang pag-aaral ng ekonomiya ay isang praktikal na pangangailangan at isang obligasyon ng bawat tao.
Macroeconomic versus microeconomic. Close economic means no trade between countries. So when we talk close economy, it is a no trade, which means no import come into the country and no export leave the country. So that close economy is independent because import and export of goods and services don't happen. Next, macroeconomics. Concerned with the study of aggregate economy or the economy of one's country as a whole. The fourth sector in the economy, the household, business, government, and the foreign sectors. And it deals with the gross domestic product, inflation, unemployment, import, export, and the general price level. So when we talk macroeconomic, the word macro means large. It has a big contribution in whole country. And macroeconomic, it studies the behavior and the performance of an economy as a whole. Basta when we say under macroeconomic, it is a big, it is a large. For example, using interest rate, taxes, like that, and so on. So that's all for macroeconomics.
B. Microeconomics, concerned with the study of behavior of individual, consumer, and firm or industry in the economy, or it looks only the specific economic units of the country. Economics is the concern with the well-being of all people, including those with job, and we will learn about the theory of consumer behavior and the theory of the firm. Next, examine the factors that influence individual economic choices and how the choices of various decision makers, individual consumer, firm or industry, and government agency are coordinated by makers. Next, explain how the demand and supply of the certain product determine equilibrium price in the supply and demand is an economic model of price determination in a market. If demand increases and supply remains unchanged, then it leads to higher equilibrium price and higher quantity. If demand decreases and supply remains unchanged, then it leads to lower equilibrium price and lower quantity. Next, deal with the price of a specific product, the number of employees employed in a specific firm, or the expenditure of a specific term. No matter what type of product you sell, the price you charge your customer or client will have many manufacturers use cost plus pricing used when there's an established market price for a particular product or service. The last focuses on a specific units of the economic is a social science concerned with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Economics can generally be broken down into microeconomics, which concentrates on the behavior of the economy as a whole, and a microeconomics, which focuses on individual people and business.
So, hello everyone. So, today I'm gonna report about economic methodology. So, what is economic methodology? So, economic methodology studies of methods, especially the scientific methods into relation to economics, including principles underlying economic reasoning. Primary data are collected for one's present purposes using direct observation, surveys, and interviews. When we say primary data, this is to collect or gather information about research, and it could be done through interviews, surveys, and observation, and so on. Secondary data are collected from statistical agencies like data on prices, employment, interest, and national income, or the gross domestic product. So when we say secondary data, it is more broad than primary data because you need some details or statistic came from the government. So the third is economic theory, is the generalization based on a variety of facts about why or how an economic event occurs. So when we say economic theory is the creation of different varieties why and how economic event, economic policy exists. Policies are courses of action based on economic principles and are intended to solve a specific economic problem and to achieve economic goals. Policies, thus, are rules and law economic and should be followed to solve any economic problem. That's it. Economic policy is solution to economic problem. Basically, it is a self-explanation. It's just solution to economic problem. These are those examples of economic policies. Include decision made about government spending and taxation, about the redistribution of income from rich to poor, and about the supply of money. Policy economics study of policies that are solution to the problem. Policy economy, it is the study to solve economic problem to provide solution. Project evaluation, if a policy is effective or not. When we say project evaluation, it is another self-explanatory. When you were going to evaluate, or it's the time to you to decide if it's effective or not. And lastly, function of economists to analyze, to recommend policy. And lastly, function of economists to analyze, to recommend policy. When we say function of economics, it is the time to create, analyze, or how you recommend. That's it, and I hope you understand. Thank you.
Positive economics versus normative economics. Positive economics is an economic stream that relies on facts and has an objective approach. It focuses on description, quantifying and developing economies, clarifying perspectives, and associated matters. This economic division uses objective data analysis and the facts and figures that are relevant. It therefore tries to establish a relationship of cause and effect or behavior that can help to determine and test the progression of economic theories. The economic study here is more objective and more factual. Furthermore, declarations are accurate. Descriptive reports can be quantified and measured with respect. Such evidence and historical references are noticeable. For example, the statement, "Government-supported healthcare boosts public expenditure," is a positive economic example. This statement is based on facts and contains a significant value assessment. Thus, by a study of the government's health involvement, its credibility can be proved or distested. Normative economics. The declaration of normative economics are subjective and rely heavily on individual values. Those are often very rigid and perceptive statements. They are therefore regarded as political or authoritarian. An example statement of normative economics is that government should provide every citizen with basic health care. You can understand that this statement is personally based and meets the need to be must or must. Difference of positive and normative economics in terms of meaning. Positive economics means a greater focus than personal perspectives on data, facts, and figures. The declarations here are up to date and are supported by relevant information. Normative economics focuses more on personal views and opinions than on facts and figures. In this case, the statements are based on the perspective of an individual and are supported by ample information. Difference of positive and normative economics in terms of perspective. There is a significant difference between the perspective of these two concepts. Positive business is objective, subjective economics. The positive economics concentrates on the presentation of relevant and more concentrated normative statements supported by real data. In contrast, it focuses on the submission of declarations which in future may or may not be possible. Furthermore, in some instances, statements have no credible normative economy to support them. Difference of positive and normative economics in terms of function. They can differentiate between positive economics and normative economics. The cause and outcome of relations between variables is described by positive economics. The normative economics provides values assessment on the other hand. Difference of positive and normative economics in terms of area of study. Positive economics is an examination of what is, while normative economics is about what is to be. One industry relies more on personal data as a factual approach supported by economy, contrary rather than actual information, normative opinions. Positive economics versus normative economics in terms of testing. Scientifically and without regard to any positive economic statement, proven or nevertheless scientifically tested normative economic statements. It depends entirely on the belief that a person can be. Positive versus normative economics in terms of economical clarification. A more scientific and calculated clarification on the economic question is provided by the positive economics. Normative economics, however, also provides solutions based on personal values. Importance of positive and normative economics. Although it is subjective in normative economics, it acts as a platform for thinking out of the box. Such concepts can form the basis for ideas that are capable of reforming an economy. Decisions cannot be taken on the basis of these decisions. The objective approach requires positive economics. It concentrates on the facts and the effects of such decisions on society and then makes a statement containing the information necessary for decision making.
These are three economic policy. But first, what is economic policy? It refers to the actions that governments take in the economic field. It covers the systems for setting interest rates and government budget as well as the labor market. national ownership, and many other areas of government interventions into the economy. These are the three types of economic policy. First, descriptive economics or positive economics helps understand problem by gathering the data. It is a branch of economics inquiry that analyzes and explains economic phenomena. It involves gathering and compiling data about the economy. Second, theoretical economics, formulating theories, analyzing data or facts, the process of deriving theories and principal objectives. And last, applied economics or policy economics, use of the theories to come up a solution to economic problem. It is the application of economic theory and econometrics in specific settings.
Method of economic analysis. Letter A. Logical method. Inductive method or empirical method is applied when researchers are conducted from facts to theory or from specific observations to generalized explanations about the observed phenomena. Economic generalizations are derived on the basis of experiences and observations. Consists of examination of facts and development of general principles. Empirical, verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or a pure logic. We have example, consumption depends upon income or consumption functions or pinalaki. So, in short, inductive method is based on facts, observations, and experiences, more like realistic thing. So, for example, in the field of microeconomics, they establish generalization related to the price and quantity consumption demand. Mostly big industrial firms often try to assess the changes of the price of their product. Depends on the demand and quantity supplies during boom period. Whether it is equal or constant cost or an increasing price depends on the marketing competition and elasticity demand of their product.
Hypothetical deductive method. The hypothetical deductive method is an important method for testing theories or hypotheses. Many called it the scientific method. This is not quite correct because scientists can use more than one method. However, the HD method is of central importance because it is one of the basic common method to all scientific disciplines, whether it is economics, physics, or biochemistry. We can divide its application for four stages. Abstraction or economic model is a simplified description of reality. So, nag-design siya to yield hypothesis about economic behavior na nag-tested or important feature of economic model so that naging necessary subjective siya in design kasi there are no objective measures of economic outcome. Pero meron siya mga different economics will make different judgment. Meron siyang different economics will have different judgment about sa kung anong kailangan. Kaya in-explain siya in interpretations of reality. Ceteris paribus is literally holding other things constant. Is a Latin phrase that commonly translated into English as else being equal. As a dominant assumption in mainstream economic thinking, it acts as a shorthand indication of the effects of a one economic variable or another provide other variable remain the same. So, sinasabi na ceteris paribus, naging commonly used phrase siya instead for all things being unchanged or constant. Kaya ginagamit siya sa economics to rule out the possibility of other factors na pinapalitan or changing the specific causal relation between sa dalawang variables na focus. Or sa Latin naman is ginamit siya with the use of other things. Ginamit siya with the use of other things na being the same or particularly crucial in the study of cause and effect relationship between two specific variables such as the other relevant factors na nag-i-influence sa assumed para maging constant by assumption of ceteris paribus. So, that's the ceteris paribus.
Last method of economic analysis is the graphical methods. So what do we mean by graphical methods? To solve the system of equation or simultaneously equation by the graphical methods. We draw the graph for each of the equation and look for a point of intersection between the two graphs. The coordinates of 2 points of intersection would be the solution of the system of the equation. So in graphical methods, we have a 4 important needs to have. So first, we have the mathematical methods. So the mathematical methods is focused on the development of the use of calculus, probability, and the statistical analysis. The study of calculus provides a basic for an understanding of the physical world involving rates of change and includes the use of functions, their derivatives, and integrals in modeling physical processes. So the next one we have a tabular presentation. These methods presenting a data. It is a systematic and logical arrangement of data in the form of rows and columns with respect to the characteristic of a data. So in this tabular presentation, we have a sub or row headings, we have a caption columns headings, we have the total or rows, and this caption or the columns headings, we have it is divided into two. It is subhead and also subhead, and the subhead is divided also into two. We have a column head and also the columns head. So at the last part of this tabular presentation or the table is we have a total columns. So next one, we have a theoretical analysis. It means investigating of problems, division, process and methods, and peculiarities of the problem, description, and initial data impact on obtained results. So this theoretical analysis investigating the problems, and also it obtained the result of the data, like the overall methods nor description or the initial data. So next one, we have the last one, we have a rectangular coordinate system, or it is commonly called as a Cartesian coordinate system. Is based on the two-dimensional plane consisting of the x-axis and y-axis perpendicular to each other. The same axis divided the plane into 4 sections. So it means that the plane have a 4 section. On the upper head, we have a y-axis. On the right side, at the middle of the plane, is we have a x-axis. So as I can see, as I read this plane, this axis divided into 4 plane, into 4 section, y and x. So this is what we call the rectangular coordinate system. So that's it po. Thank you for listening.